You know that feeling, right? That gut instinct, that flash of intuition that just feels so right? Well, what if I told you that internal compass of yours has a predictable, systematic flaw? That your gut is often leading you astray, especially when you're trying to predict the future. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how that happens and what you can do about it.
All right, let's put this to the test right now with a quick puzzle. Just based on this one fact, that Julie was a fluent reader when she was only 4, what do you think her college GPA is? Go ahead, pick a number. Got it? Okay, hold that number in your head.
So, did you guess something pretty high, like a 3.7 or maybe a 3.8? Well, if you did, you're not alone. That is what almost everybody says. And it feels right, doesn't it? It feels logical. But here's the twist. That intuitive leap, as natural as it feels, is based on a huge error in how we think.
So to figure out why that gut feeling is so powerful but so off base, we need to peek behind the curtain at a little magic trick your brain just played on you. What just happened in your head is your System 1 brain kicking into high gear. This is the fast, automatic storytelling part of you. It grabbed the one juicy detail it had, early reader, and instantly spun a simple, tidy story. Early reading means smart. Smart means good student. Boom, high GPA. Notice what it didn't do? It completely ignored the mountain of things it doesn't know about Julie.
And this mental shortcut, this little sleight of hand, actually has a name. It's called substitution. You see, your brain is, well, it's incredibly efficient, maybe even a little lazy. So when you ask it a really hard question, it often just secretly swaps it out for an easier one. And the craziest part? You don't even notice it happen.
And this is the exact switcheroo your brain just pulled. The hard question was, predict Julie's future GPA. That's tough. It involves statistics and luck and all sorts of unknowns. So your brain answered an easy question instead. How impressive is it for a 4-year-old to read? The answer to that is easy. Very impressive. And then it just took that feeling of very impressive and slapped it onto the GPA scale. This is a process called intensity matching. It's pretty wild. Your brain basically gives the evidence, the early reading, an intensity score. In this case, super high intensity. And then it just finds a GPA that matches that same level of intensity. So, a super high GPA, like 3.8. It's making a prediction that is just as extreme as the single piece of evidence it has.
The Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman summed it up perfectly. He said, "People are asked for a prediction, but they substitute an evaluation of the evidence, without noticing that the question they answer is not the one they were asked. We just do it, automatically." And this is exactly why our intuitive predictions are almost always way too extreme and way too confident.
Okay, so we've pulled back the curtain on the problem. Our gut is kind of broken when it comes to predictions. But don't worry, the good news is there's a fix. It's a surprisingly simple 4-step process to rein in your intuition and start making way better predictions. But before we get to the fix, we have to talk about the one single idea our gut feeling always, and I mean always, ignores. It's called regression to the mean. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. In pretty much anything that involves some amount of luck, extreme results tend to be followed by more average ones. You know, the baseball player who hits a crazy number of home runs in his rookie year? Odds are his second season will be good, but closer to average. Why? Because that amazing first year was a mix of incredible skill and incredible luck. And, well, luck. It comes and goes.
All right, so here is the 4-step fix. It's a total game changer. Step 1, you start with the average. What's the baseline GPA for a senior at a state school? Let's just say it's about 3.0. Step 2, now what was your intuitive gut feeling? Let's stick with that 3.7. Lock it in. Step 3 is the key. You have to estimate the correlation. How strong is the real-world link between reading at age 4 and your GPA in college? You know, it's a thing, but it's not everything. It's a pretty weak link. Let's be generous and call the correlation 0.3. So step 4, you adjust. You don't jump all the way to your gut feeling. You only move 30% of the way from the average towards your gut feeling.
And just look at the difference this makes. Your gut screamed 3.7, way out there. The actual average is 3.0. But our corrected, statistically sound prediction, it lands at a much more reasonable 3.2. See? It's still above average, which accounts for her early ability, but it's nowhere near as extreme as your intuition wanted it to be.
So now we have this amazing tool to get rid of our biases and make perfectly logical predictions. But this brings up a really interesting question. Is being unbiased always the right thing to do?
Seriously, think about it. Is it
always a mistake to make a wild, extreme prediction, even if you know the odds are against you? You might be surprised to hear that the answer is no. It really depends on the price of being wrong.
Okay, take a venture capitalist. What's their goal? To find that 1 in a million company that becomes the next Google. For them, the biggest possible mistake isn't backing a few companies that fail. The costliest error is missing that one huge winner. So they have to be biased toward making these crazy, optimistic predictions. Now think about a conservative banker. It's the complete opposite, right? For them, the biggest mistake is one single catastrophic loan default. So they are biased to be cautious, maybe even pessimistic. You see, sometimes having a bias is actually a smart strategy.
All right, let's put this all together and apply it to a classic, real-world problem where your gut and the math go head-to-head, deciding who to hire.
So you've got two final candidates. First, there's Kim. She gave, hands down, the most brilliant, incredible interview you have ever seen. You were just blown away. But her actual track record, it's pretty thin. Then you have Jane. Her research record is fantastic. She's been super productive for years, solid as a rock. But her interview? It was good, totally fine, but it didn't have that wow factor like Kim's did.
Right now, your gut, your System 1, is probably shouting, "Hire Kim!" That amazing interview feels like a sure sign of a superstar. But using what we've just learned, who is the safer bet? Who is statistically more likely to perform well in the long run?
The answer is Jane. And I know that feels wrong, but here's why. You have a very small sample of data on Kim, basically one interview. And extreme results, both good and bad, are way more likely to happen in small samples. Kim's incredible performance could be raw genius, or it could have been a mix of talent and a whole lot of luck on that one specific day. That single amazing performance is much more likely to regress to the mean, to become more average over time. Jane's solid multi-year track record, that's a much larger, more reliable sample of her work. It's a better predictor of the future.
Okay, let's nail down the key takeaways here. First, your brain is a master of substitution. It swaps hard questions for easy ones. Second, this makes your intuitive predictions way too confident and extreme. Third, always remember to factor in regression to the mean. Fourth, when the stakes are high, you have to actively correct your intuition. And finally, and this is a big one, a small amount of amazing, flashy data is almost always less reliable than a large amount of just plain good data.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you get that really strong gut feeling, that jolt of certainty about a prediction, are you going to have the discipline to hit the pause button, to doubt it, and to ask yourself, okay, but what's the average?